This is me. And ever since I was a young lad, I've always wanted to be jacked. Because why not? Getting in shape is one of the best things you can do for your health and your confidence. But the advice and the ways to do that only really hit me at age 16. And it's in this video I'm going to give you the advice that has got me started on my fitness journey, so you can begin yours too.
So if you've come to this video for in-depth nutritional advice or finding out the optimal training program, you've come to the wrong place. Because number one, there's much more competent individuals online that can give you that information. And number two, I don't think those things are important when you're starting out on your journey. But, and it's a big but, today I'm going to tell you the basics of where you can start on your journey, how you can begin your fitness journey and get to the destination that you like. These fundamentals are the most important things to get started. And if you get these right, you can get anywhere on your fitness journey. So let's begin. If you can, go to the gym, pick up heavy things and put them back down again, like 3 to 5 days a week for a year, then you've won, because you've built the habit of going to the gym. Your body is used to the process, and that is the most important thing from this video that I want to drill into your mind, is that you have to get used to showing up to the gym. Because the majority of people will start, and the first week or two they'll have like sky high motivation, they'll be lashing it out in the gym, and then the third week, fourth week rolls around and they don't feel like going to the gym, they quit, and they don't have the discipline to keep up going. But the most important thing is that you practice the art of showing up, right? That is the fundamental. In terms of exercise selection, the basic that I will suggest is that you choose compound movements. And what a compound movement means is where multiple joints are being used to lift the weight. For example, your squats, your deadlift, your bench press, your pull up, these kind of exercises that use multiple joints. Okay, they're the ones you want to focus on because you get the most bang for your buck in terms of time to muscle stimulation ratio. As well as that, you've got to understand that to stimulate muscle growth, you need to damage muscle tissue, and to damage muscle tissue, you need to train hard, right? The training has to be difficult. It's not going to be fun, and it's not going to be a walk in the park. If you go to the gym and you're not out of breath, and you're not tired, and you're not sore, you're probably not training hard enough. So what you have to be doing is getting in there and focusing, getting in the zone, and knowing that as much discomfort as you go through in the gym is equivalent to the results that you'll get. So basically, don't be a pussy. Push hard. Lift heavy weights. You know, don't go to the point where you're going to get injured, because that's just silly. But lift a decent load and do it, you know, for multiple repetitions until you feel like you're going to die, basically. Also, a lot of people when they start going to the gym, especially like young guys like myself, will ego lift, which is where you lift more than you're capable of doing with good form. They'll go in the gym and they'll try and lift more load than their mates will, okay? And that is not the mentality. The most important thing is actually that you're stimulating the correct muscle when you're doing an exercise. So it's more important to pick a lighter load, but do the exercise properly and feel the right muscle that you're trying to focus on. A lot of people will say try and do a chest exercise, right? And they'll whack loads of weight on the bar or go for 2 heavy dumbbells, and they'll end up just doing it all with their shoulders, and they won't be stimulating the chest they're trying to focus on. But compare that to the other guy who's lifting lighter weights but actually feeling his chest working. He's doing better even though he's lifting lighter weights. So I would say that at the start, especially because, you know, injury risk is high and you don't really know what you're doing, focus on form over weight. Now, the number one piece of nutritional advice that I want to put in this video is that you have to stop eating like an 8-year-old. You can no longer get your pleasure in life from food, okay? You have to see food as fuel for your body, for your meat vehicle, right? So that means eating healthy and not indulging in the pleasurable, sugary, fatty, and highly processed foods that may be great for our mind and great for our mood in the short term, but are not good for our body composition or our performance in the gym. If you want to eat good food, I think one of the fundamentals is you've got to learn to cook. I mean, I could not make any food before the first lockdown in 2020, but then during that time I learned to make decently nutritious meals, and now I'm a very good cook. I can make myself a variety of decent meals that are good for me and taste great. So I suggest you get into cooking, alright, because it's creative, it's fun, you put some tunes on and whack out a good meal and you feel proud of yourself afterwards. people trying to change their diets, like, I understand it's not easy because your body and mind are conditioned to eat in a certain way throughout your entire life up to this point. You know, you might be conditioned by your family, your environment, your friends to eat in a certain way. And I would suggest, you know, changing your diet to more healthy and putting it, you know, in a good position for muscle building has two kind of techniques in doing so. There's the gradual approach where you just, over time, very slowly, replace the unhealthy foods with the healthier foods. Maybe you change one meal a day for like a month, and then after that month, the second meal in the day, and so on throughout the months and weeks. You're eventually eating a lot healthier than you were originally. There's the second approach, which is one I took, which maybe is not optimal for some people. You've got to have quite an extremist mindset. That's why I call it the extremist approach, which is literally you decide from watching this video that you're done with the unhealthy shit. Right? You know, you're not going to smash out like pleasurable, sugary, fatty foods in like mad at excess like you are now. You can have them every so often and you can be present with them and enjoy that experience. But the majority of time you'll be focusing on highly nutritious food. So the extremist approach is that you just completely cut that stuff out, and that's the role I took. And you know, if you are very addicted to these foods and you don't think you have the kind of willpower to do that, which is fair enough. Like, but the two things for like specifically muscle building, which I think are important for this video, is number one, you want to be in a calorie surplus, right? And number two, you want to be eating a decent amount of protein. I would say 0.8 grams per pound of your body weight at least. That's what I aim for on training days. The calorie thing, you need to be giving your body enough energy to actually build the tissue, right? One massive mistake I made when I started lifting weights, like I would say the first 9 months I made very, very little gains because I was too scared to bulk. I was too scared to eat more food than I burnt because I didn't want to put on fat. Maybe it was to do with certain body image issues that I had, and I think that's the case. But what I would say to people is like, trust the process and don't be scared to eat like food. If it's good food, if it's, you know, your vegetables, your fruits, your good grains, you know, your good meats, your like avocados, your peanut butter, all of that good stuff, right? Don't be afraid to eat quite a lot of it because you need to do that to fuel your workouts and fuel your body's potential to grow that new tissue. I would also suggest don't track your calories at the beginning because that's just a recipe for being neurotic. I fell into that trap at the beginning, and luckily after a couple of months I went out of that chasm of sort of mental turmoil thinking about, you know, your food as in numbers and all of that, like using MyFitnessPal and stuff. Like, save that stuff for like the people that are really serious about this, you know, your bodybuilders, your professional athletes, things like that. Obviously you can have some, you know, unhealthy food from time to time. You're not a robot, understand that. It's just about a lifestyle, to be fair. And I think once you start eating healthier, this is what I found, is that you sort of build a bit of momentum and you start enjoying eating nice food, how you feel after you have a clean meal. You just feel great, and I prefer the feeling after eating a good meal than eating an unhealthy meal and just feeling sluggish the rest of the day. Your muscles do not grow in the gym. Your muscles grow when you have trained hard and you're recovering and you're resting, right? So that's why recovery is an essential thing. You need to give your body time to recover and rest. And that means doing two things. Taking decent rest days, you know, 1 to 3 rest days a week I think is good for, you know, healthy lifestyle and stuff like that. And also sleep. Get 8 hours of sleep. It's non-negotiable. Sleep is where your growth hormone is released, your testosterone is managed while you're asleep, and both of these things are essential for muscle growth. Your body tissues literally grow while you're asleep. So if you're training really hard and you're doing that perfectly and you're eating well, but you're getting 4 hours of sleep, you're going to see very, very suboptimal results. Now, I think I'm going to give you some kind of advice now that other people online in the fitness community, in the self-improvement space, aren't really talking about. And that is that this journey you're about to embark on of building muscle, of going to the gym, of exercising consistently, is really hard. And if you do this naturally, it's going to take a lot of time. Like, I have been lifting weights for about 18 months, and I'd say I've been lifting weights seriously for a year, and I'm a small guy still, alright? I've made progress, but I'm not where I want to be in the final goal. I know it's going to take me like a decade at least. So if you're starting this journey, you're serious, you want to build muscle, you want to get jacked, you've got to have a long-term mindset, and you've got to understand that it's really difficult. You've got to literally commit and be like, well, I'm going to train hard, I'm going to eat well, and I'm going to sleep well for 10 years, okay, and see where I get to after that point. I would say 10 years is a reliable amount of time where if you go to the gym 4 days a week, every week for 10 years, and you eat well and you recover, you are guaranteed to look amazing. If you're watching this video and you're 17 years old, by the time you're 27, you will be in absolutely amazing shape. And then maintaining amazing shape is a lot easier than building it. So you may have that physique for the next 30 years and you won't have to put in the amount of effort and time you will in the first 10. You want to be that guy that just shows up to the gym because he enjoys it, because he enjoys the feeling of going to the gym. He enjoys eating the healthy food. He enjoys how it feels to get a good night's sleep. You want to be that guy that focuses on the process, because if you get het up on the results and you're constantly staring at yourself in the mirror and constantly weighing yourself on the scales, that's not good for your mental health. And mental health is literally the fundamentals of life. So just do it because you enjoy it, and stick to it over the long term, because it's that consistency over a long period of time that's going to get you where you want to go. If you're consistent, you'll get the results. Anything you can put in place to make yourself more consistent, do it, because that's the fundamental of seeing results, is consistency. So if going with a friend that is supportive and helps you out is good, then keep it up. If you have certain playlists that you listen to while you're in the gym and you enjoy and get you in the zone, do that. If there are certain, exercise selections that aren't maybe the most efficient for muscle growth, but you enjoy them and it gets you to the gym, then they are the most important, because it's so much better to, work out at 70% efficiency for 5 years than 100% efficiency for 2 months and then quit. As well as that, you obviously accepting that it's hard is key, but I also want you to understand that if it wasn't hard, you wouldn't want to do it. Watching this video, you have this goal, like I do, of being in great shape, being jacked, being a muscular guy, right? If you have this goal and you just achieved it tomorrow, so you went to sleep tonight and you just woke up and you looked exactly how you wanted to, you would not be satisfied, because you knew that you hadn't worked hard to get there. It would have just been given to you on a plate like it's nothing. And then it wouldn't be as satisfying. You would just feel there'll be no meaning to the goal that you've achieved. Whereas, say you put in work for a decade and then you realise, oh my god, I'm literally at the point of the goal that I set when I was 17, then you will feel this immense satisfaction, this feeling of achievement like literally nothing else in life. There's going to be so many sacrifices you have to make for your fitness journey. You'll get asked to go on nights out, and you know that you want to go home and eat a good meal and get good sleep, right? And you'll have to sacrifice that, that going out with friends, or that food that you really wanted to eat, or that alcoholic beverage. All of these things will have to be sacrificed for your goal. I'm not saying, you can never drink again, or never eat unhealthy food again, or never go out and have a bad sleep again. But I'm saying the majority of the time, you have to make these sacrifices to see consistent results, and it's worth it, because when you see your results, you see your goal coming into real life and actualizing, this dream that you had becoming reality. It's one of the best feelings in the world. And I'm still a small guy, like I said, but I enjoy the process now, and seeing the little bits of results that I've made over the past year has just motivated me more and more, and I know that I'm going to keep up my dedication, keep up my motivation and my drive to do this for the next decade or so. Lifting weights, building muscle, I think is literally one of the best decisions a young guy can make. It makes you more confident, you're more healthy, you're sleeping well, so you're going to have better mood, more focus in class or at work. It's just a no-brainer. It's difficult at first to get used to the fact of, wow, I'm going to have to go to the gym for an hour 4 or 5 days a week. That's different. It's a different lifestyle change. These are big changes. But once you have adapted and once you're in the flow, you will not regret it. If you've got to this point in the video, firstly, thank you. Secondly, you're going to like the rest of my content and you can start exploring that here. But with that said, I will see you next time. But until then, you know what to do. Be an anomaly.